All right, let's set the scene. Imagine you're standing on a massive battlefield. The air is electric. Two huge armies are ready to clash, and you're the greatest warrior of your time. But just as the horns are about to sound, you're faced with a choice so devastating it could shatter your very soul. Today, we're diving deep into that exact moment, exploring a warrior's ultimate impossible choice. So those are the words of our hero, Arjuna. And you can tell, right? This isn't just a case of pre-battle jitters. Not even close. This is a total physical and emotional breakdown. He's looking out across the field of battle, and what he sees doesn't just frighten him. It completely shatters his will to fight.
And this moment, right here, is the heart of the whole crisis. You've got Arjuna, a famous hero, a man literally born to fight for what's right, and he is just completely paralyzed by despair. So the big question is, why? What could possibly bring a warrior like him to his knees?
Well, his reasons are deeply, deeply personal. See, he's not afraid of dying. What he's terrified of is the killing he's about to do. He looks across the way and sees his own grandsire, Bhishma, a man whose lap he probably sat on as a kid. He sees his revered teacher, Drona, the very man who taught him how to be the greatest archer alive. Winning this war means he has to kill his own family, his mentors, his own history. He's convinced the only thing he'll get out of this is sin and the chaos that will swallow his whole world.
And that's it. That's his declaration. He just says, I will not fight. This is the pivotal moment. He's so completely overwhelmed by sorrow that he literally casts aside his legendary bow and just refuses to participate. And it's at this point of total breakdown that he turns to his charioteer, who, it's worth mentioning, is actually the divine Lord Krishna in disguise, and he begs him for guidance.
So what does Krishna do? He doesn't just give him a simple pep talk like, you can do it. Instead, he completely reframes the entire problem. He introduces this radical new way of looking at everything: life, death, reality itself. And it all starts with the fundamental difference between the body and the soul. Krishna's first lesson is laid out right here. On one side, you have the body. Think of it as temporary, like a car you drive or a set of clothes you wear. It's born, it grows old, and yeah, it's gonna die. But then you have the soul. The real you, the true self inside. And that is eternal. It was never born and it can never be destroyed. No weapon can touch it. This one distinction is the absolute key to solving Arjuna's dilemma.
This is such a powerful statement. Krishna's point is that Arjuna's grief, while totally understandable, is actually misplaced. He's mourning the destruction of the clothing, the temporary bodies of his family and teachers, while completely forgetting about their eternal essence, the soul, which can't be harmed. From this much higher perspective, he's basically grieving for the wrong thing.
To make this super clear, Krishna uses this brilliant, simple analogy. Look, just as you take off old, worn-out clothes and put on new ones, you don't really grieve for the old fabric, right? In the exact same way, the soul simply discards an old, worn-out body and takes on a new one. This idea of reincarnation is presented as just a logical, natural process. It's not some spooky mystery. It's just changing your clothes.
Okay, so let's see where this is all going. After laying down this really profound philosophical groundwork, Krishna gives Arjuna a practical way forward. Because, it's not enough to just understand that the soul is eternal. You have to know how to act with that knowledge.
First up, Krishna reminds Arjuna of his dharma. Now, this is a really important concept. Dharma isn't just your job or your career. It's your sacred purpose, your righteous duty, the unique role you're meant to play in the grand scheme of things. For a warrior like Arjuna, his dharma is, without a doubt, to fight against injustice. To back down now would be a massive failure of his very purpose in life.
Okay, so how does he do his duty without racking up all that sin he's so afraid of? The answer is something called karma yoga, the yoga of action. And the secret here is to perform your duty, your dharma, but to do it selflessly, without getting emotionally attached to the results.
And that's the absolute game changer. Fight because it's the right thing to do, because it's your duty. Don't fight because you're hoping for victory or because you're scared of defeat. The moment you detach from the fruits of your actions, you're free. You're free from all that emotional baggage and spiritual weight. You can just act with total clarity and purpose, staying balanced no matter what happens.
So we've walked through Arjuna's crisis, we've seen Krishna's mind-bending reframe of reality, and we've learned about this path of selfless action. Now, we finally get to the resolution. How does all of this incredible wisdom actually affect Arjuna?
The transformation is just total.
I mean, compare these words to the guy whose hands were trembling, whose bow was slipping from his grasp. His despair? It's gone, replaced by clarity. His weakness is now resolve. All that doubt has vanished. He finally understands who he really is and what he has to do. He's ready to act. The war inside him is over.
You know, this ancient story just so brilliantly captures that universal struggle we all face between our personal feelings and our greater responsibilities. And it leaves us with this really powerful question to think about in our own lives. When we're faced with our own impossible choices, what is a duty worth fighting for?